Hello Griffin Scopers, it's lovely to see you here. Thank you very much for joining me. We're going to be looking at character cards and birth cards in the tarot. So if that's something that interests you, stick around. Before I get into it, please don't forget to thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel. We are a growing community in this tiny little corner of YouTube and all your support is so appreciated. So, character cards in the tarot relate to the astrological signs. So by the end of this video, you will know what your character cards are, and your birth cards relate to your actual day of birth. So if you want to know those, you can go online, pop into a tarot calculator, your date of birth. They'll ask you for bits of numerology and they'll feed you back what those cards are. They're very accurate. I never do a reading without using the character cards and birth cards because they're a really brilliant way of getting a good analysis on somebody, where they're at in the moment, at the time that you're shuffling the cards. They can really open out a reading in a very accurate way. We're going to be looking at Donald Trump today, and he's a very polarizing character, obviously, and it's really important, whoever you're reading for, whether it's a famous person or somebody you know a little bit, to put all your judgments and biases to one side. And when we do that, we're going to get a lot more of a purist kind of a read. It's going to be more accurate. When we put our own judgments and our own biases into that read, perhaps we don't like that person very much, it's only going to reflect back to us what we actually think. So it's not accurate. Okay, so the character cards relate to your astrological sign, and your birth cards relate to your actual day of birth. There's normally 4 cards in total, so you're going to need 2 decks to do this, to incorporate the character and birth cards. And sometimes there's 5 cards. It's a little bit more rare, but yeah, it can go up to 5. And it's a really good way to understand what energies are playing out on that person's life stage in the moment. So you're never going to be able to get away from what energies are emitting from your character and birth cards. They're always going to be there throughout your whole entire life. But it's a really good way of kind of understanding what you're supposed to learn in this life, what you're here to do, that kind of thing. So let's just pan down and see what Mr. Trump's character cards are like, what he's got. And I'll tell you right off the bat, with a wry smile, he's actually got the Devil, the Lovers, the Emperor, and the Death card. So all the tarot cards relate to countries, and the Devil relates to Mexico. That's what it governs. And he put the border wall up, didn't he, in Mexico. We've got the Lovers relating to America. We know he is American. We've got the Emperor. I think he, because the Emperor relates or is governed by Italy. He did meet with the Italian president recently. And the Death card. Death card for me would relate to anywhere that is in transition, change, this kind of thing. So let me just relate back to you guys what your character cards are before I forget. So we've got Aries, which is the Emperor and Death. So we know that Mr. Trump has got a lot of Aries energies going on. Taurus, the Hierophant and Temperance. Hierophant, by the way, relates to Vatican City. When you think of the Hierophant and what a spiritual figure he is, that goes perfectly. We've got Gemini, the Lovers and Devil, Cancer, the Chariot and the Tower. I used to live in Amsterdam, and the Chariot governs Amsterdam. When you think about all the trams, the bicycles, the boats, the double-decker trains, you know, everything's in movement. We've got Leo, Strength and the Star. Virgo, the Hermit, and the Moon. Hermit relates to Morocco. The Hermit's symbol is a lantern, and when you think in all the bazaars in Morocco, you get these beautiful big brass lanterns, well, all shapes and sizes. The Moon would be Africa, and particularly the Sahara. Libra, Justice, High Priestess, Scorpio, Death Emperor, Sagittarius, Temperance and Hierophant, and Capricorn, Devil and Lovers, Aquarius, Star and Strength, Pisces, Moon and Hermit. Okay, panning back down then into Mr. Trump's read. So the Devil, very materialistic. I've seen good bank managers come from the Devil energy. When you think how focused they are on money and materialism, reversed, this would be somebody that abuses power, a little bit of a narcissist, terrible with money, focuses way too much on their material possessions, this kind of thing. The Lovers, all to do with choices and also relationships. So the choices that Mr. Trump makes need to be very thought out and calculated so that they work out in a way that brings success. When he makes quick snap decisions or puts his signature, because documents also go with the Devil. If he does that too quickly, chances are it's not going to work out. For long-term success, he needs to really process and think about choices that he makes. And the Lovers also relates to the relationship that we have with ourselves as well as out there on the world stage. So the better the relationship we have with ourselves, the better the quality of relationship that's going to be drawn in to his life. So the Emperor, when you think about, because it governs Italy, so think about all the amazing ancient emperors that were brilliant leaders in ancient Rome. They thought that the seat of the mind was in fact the spirit where it lived. And logical thinking is something that really goes with the leader in the tarot, the Emperor. So I know that if I put my hand in the fire, then I'm going to get burnt. Logic is what this is all about. Thinking in a square way. So 4 square meals a day, thinking in a black and white way, in a logical way. Reversed, you know, you're going to get a tyrant, a beast, somebody that is just going to do whatever they want, regardless of whether it hurts people. It's their way or the highway. And the Death card, well, as we know, it's all about change and transition and moving things forward. So reversed, I'm going to be stopping those changes from happening and not going with the natural flow and course of life, whereas right way up, you're going to be going for those changes and allowing them to happen. One door closes, another door opens, and through we go. So you can see in a very short amount of time, we're already beginning to build up an analysis. This is just a whistle stop to give you a soupçon, a little taster, a flavour of what can be done with these character cards and birth cards. No matter what happens, you're never going to get away from these energies. Sometimes it's going to be this one playing out on the world stage. Sometimes it might be that one. Sometimes it might be both of them together, while these two are backstage and a little bit more quiet. But whatever happens, they will be there. So please do look up what your birth cards are. I've told you what your character cards might be, and just drop your comments in the box below. I'd like to do some really in-depth analysis on some of the perhaps more famous characters that we could do. If you have any ideas, then let me know. Nothing on the royals. I'm absolutely sick to death of the royals. I covered that for 6 years. It's like rinse and repeat. I'm much more interested in, you know, broadening things out a bit and looking at different characters. That would be really interesting, and we could get right into it with an in-depth character analysis. Let me know your thoughts. Drop your comments in the box below, and I will see you on the next. Bye for now, guys.